The United States of America now looks to be defenseless against foreign attacks, and the Biden administration is getting a lot of heat for failing to respond to multiple aggressions overseas. I mean, our troops, they're getting hit like on a daily basis. And like, you have to ask, is this what they signed up for? And also, did you know that one of our drones recently got shot down? I wonder how much that cost American taxpayers. Here's a clue, a couple of $1 million.
Off of the coast of Yemen, a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone was shot down earlier today. A senior U.S. defense official said in a statement to us moments ago, quote, "We can confirm that a U.S. military MQ-9 remotely piloted aircraft was shot down while in international airspace over international waters off the coast of Yemen. U.S. Central Command officials are assessing the incident, we're told. But according to multiple defense officials who I spoke to earlier today, the MQ-9 Reaper was conducting surveillance over Yemen when a Houthi militia likely shot down the $32 million U.S. surveillance drone. The Houthis put out a video today of the downing of what they said was the downing of the American Reaper, most likely with an SA-6 surface-to-air missile. The Houthis last shot down an MQ-9 Reaper on June 6, 2019.
32 million bucks, huh? Man, oh man, I wonder who's paying for that. No wonder the president's getting criticized left and right because, I mean, like, is there somebody else who's in charge of the U.S. and its armed forces? Now, obviously, that was a rhetorical question. Please don't answer that in the comments, but because I got a funny feeling that this video may get suppressed because of it. But here's a question that might be better. Do you think that the U.S. could do better with its response to these attacks? I mean, sure, it was over international waters, so it can be kind of be considered fair game, but it's still our drone. You know what I'm saying? Comment a quick yes or no down below. And while you guys are at it, smash the like button and share this video with everyone you know. Subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications because we need to be updated on this thing 24/7 because we're not sure what else might happen. Appreciate that, guys. So getting back to the response on these attacks, right? Some say that this administration's leaving our troops overseas like sitting ducks and that a more direct approach should be done to, how do I call it, assert our dominance?
Because of these guys and because of what's happening in Lebanon and what's happening in Gaza, there is a huge danger to our troops, 45,000, but predominantly the most in danger in Syria, as well as over in Iraq. They are being rocketed regularly, 45 injuries, a lot of it TBI, and we have not struck back except one time at a weapons depot. General, are you worried for our people and the families watching right now?
Oh, Brian, absolutely. Look, to use a phrase, we've really dodged a bullet on this simply because we haven't had any Americans killed in these attacks. You know, Jackie Heinrich last night, or in yesterday's press conference, asked about those attacks, and Kirby made the comment about 2 F-16s striking an arms depot. And look, why don't we see the gun tapes of that? Because it probably didn't hit anything but sand. We've got enormous capability in the Middle East. 2 carrier strike groups, an amphibious ready group, the Bataan. We've just had an Ohio-class guided missile submarine pass through the Suez Canal in the Red Sea. That carries 150 TLAMs. It's not the capacity and it's not the capability of the military forces there. It's the will of the President of the United States. And I really believe that this president, it's in his DNA to be very, very cautious and very conservative. I've been in those meetings in the Situation Room. I've been in those meetings in the Oval Office. Those are hard decisions. I understand the risk. I get it. But you're going to have to make those hard decisions to respond against them because every time these attacks occur against U.S. facilities and troops, it just emboldens them because they say, well, look, they're not going to attack back. They need to come up with a plan and a process to do it and then execute. They've got the capability. They've got the capacity. They can create enormous destruction. And I haven't seen the signal that we've sent, except those 2 F-16s.
Here's something that critics have called out about this response. So they're attacking our soldiers, our troops, our fellow Americans, okay? But then we retaliate by firing at, well, their warehouses? Do you guys think that that's weird? And I really don't agree with this entire notion of dodging a bullet because do you know what a TBI is? That's a traumatic brain injury.
In the lab of Dr. Marta Lipinski, researchers are working to better understand the short and long-term effects of traumatic brain injury. They've learned the initial primary injury triggers cellular and biological changes in the brain that spread to other areas of the brain over time, causing a secondary injury.
After people recover from this initial stage, they can have very profound long-term consequences, and this can involve the immediate disability, cognitive or motor disability. But even people who fully recover have higher predisposition to neurodegenerative diseases decades later.
In a recently published study conducted in mice, Dr. Lipinski showed that traumatic brain injury inhibits an important cellular housecleaning process in the brain called autophagy. After the injury, the recycling function of the brain's immune system cells slowed down dramatically.
This process is actually becoming inhibited and doesn't function. So at a time when the cell really has lots of damaged parts and should be degrading and recycling them, the recycling process is not functioning either and makes the injury worse.
In follow-up research, Dr. Lipinski is collaborating with University of Maryland scientists in the School of Pharmacy, the Institute of Genome Sciences, and at College Park to better understand these long-term effects.
Inhibition of autophagy per se in the neural tissue pretty much causes neurodegeneration. Autophagy is also very important for prevention of neurodegenerative diseases. It's inhibited in Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease and pretty much all other neurodegenerative diseases.
Now, I understand that there's some risk whenever troops do go overseas, but I don't believe that these injuries can be counted as just minor. You know what I'm saying? And if you're hearing about these injuries, would you feel okay with sending your kid to the Middle East to possibly be injured like that? Or maybe even worse? Some of you may say no, but the fact of the matter is that the United States under the Biden administration seems to be preparing for an attack, not just overseas, but one that could spill over right here into our own country.
Just weeks ago, the USS Carney brought down 4 Houthi cruise missiles and more than a dozen drones aimed towards Israel from the Red Sea.
And Martha Raddatz with us live tonight. Martha, we know this evening's U.S. airstrikes, of course, come at a time of extremely high tensions across the Middle East and concern here in the U.S.
Very high tensions, David. And while the U.S. is trying to make sure the war in Israel does not spread, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin saying in a statement tonight the United States is fully prepared to take further necessary measures to protect our people and our facilities.
Now that they've talked about that, I want to raise awareness about the hostages of Hamas, that they're now being counted at more than 200 people. Now, the problem is there's not enough talk about them in mainstream media. I mean, did you know that 10 of them were actually Americans? Bet you guys weren't aware of that, huh? In fact, there's an entire list of names and photos that you're not going to find just anywhere. Now, I got my hands on it, and I think that it bears looking into, just, given that Austin, the defense secretary, he did say that the United States is prepared to take the necessary actions to protect our people. Does this include these hostages? But what are your thoughts on this, guys? Should Congress now call for a draft, or should we avoid conflict as our country is not in the strongest of states right now? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And before I go, I want to tell you guys, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for liking the videos. Thank you for subscribing. And I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Take care.